Today I am in a very interesting conversation with two founders of MentorMyBoard, Neha Shah and Divya Momaya.
Thank you.
I would really love you to talk a little bit about what is it exactly that you do.
So, thank you so much for this initiative of yours and great. Tribus is a great initiative what you have started. Yes, we have started our venture almost 6 years back. So the company is called MentorMyBoard. And it is a complete governance tech platform. So we are talking of good governance or good corporate governance in India, because when we talk of the businesses, the how the businesses are being run is very important. And when we really talk of good corporate governance in India, it's only usually spoken about in the big listed companies and the bigger companies. But how the governance practices can help smaller businesses also to be more effective, to be more productive, so that they are able to see the growth in their businesses faster. And that happens with the boardrooms, right? The boardroom or the directors are the brains for the company.
Right.
So how do we nurture that brain, how do we nurture that talent is something where entire concept of MentorMyBoard is placed on.
So I want to ask you that were you always on this path? Was this something that you have been doing in your professional journey, or is it something that जैसे हम बोलते हैं वो हो गया? My calling was different and it clicked. And how did this emerge?
So, if I give you a brief background, I am a company secretary by profession. So, I have always seen the boardrooms and always dealt with boardrooms. And while doing as a, being a practicing company secretary, I realized there were certain gaps at the board level, right? And as I mentioned, good governance not only exists in top 1000, that exists only in top 1000 companies, but not generally. So that was initial thought process with which we started thinking that why not directors who are actually signing the documents are also trained for those positions. So that's how it started. And in 2017 almost 3 lakh directors were disqualified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And the reason was not filing financial years for 3 years, financial returns for 3 years. And they were disqualified for 5 years, right? So the directors who were actually signing the financial statements actually were responsible. They were not aware that such a compliance exists.
Right.
So those were some initial trigger points for us to come and see how we can add value to those promoters, founders, directors, right? To be more effective, to be more productive in their role as directors. So that was initial journey, and then it started with the idea. And then today, we have a lot of things on which what we have been working. We'll speak on that,
as we progress.
Yes. For me, it was literally kind of ho gaya the way you mentioned, because I am an HR professional with a past background of 5 years working in corporates. I left my corporate career just because when I became a mom, I could not do that 10 hours of job and the justice to the new member in the family. And was thinking or was evaluating new avenues and new options when this opportunity landed over, and when Divya asked me whether I should join her. So she was a company secretary. I joined her. I handled compliances for companies for past 10 years. And then gradually when this idea evolved, we started working on it, and then MentorMyBoard conceptualized as a platform that we are seeing today.
Right. And as we know that you have said that it's very important to seize opportunities. So it's very important that we engage with whatever it is that we do. Just the way we have different platforms for different reasons. Like we as women, we have a kitty party, and दुनिया जानती है कितना networking होता है nowadays, with the whole change in the notion of how things are. And then there is something like a BNI जहाँ पे all business entrepreneurs or business people, they meet and platform मिलता है, network करते हैं. And like you have said that yours is a governance tech platform. So what kind of opportunities come under this platform?
So basically we have mentors, we have corporates, and we have individual directors on the platform who come together, form a community, learn, unlearn, relearn new concepts, exchange their good or the best practices that they have in their own companies or maybe communities. And that is how the platform grows. We invite people through our various events to the platform, so that they come to know about what is Mentor My Board and what is the concept of good governance that we want to share with the maybe 7 crore SMEs and MSMEs that are there in India today. So that is the kind of platform we have created. Our vision is to bring a community of 1 lakh directors on this platform, so that it's a kind of a community where people come together and learn from each other.
I think it has all scope of becoming a think tank, because just imagine the number that you have just quoted ना, तो इतने सारे brains, powerful brains अगर आपके पास हो तो you can change the world and sky is the limit.
So here the most important point is it's not only about creating a community, it's also about creating the good practices for the corporates, so that they imbibe those practices and grow with that. सिर्फ governance practice सुन के कुछ नहीं होगा, you'll have to implement it, imbibe it, and I think that's where the role of platforms like MentorMyBoard comes into picture, where there are mentors who not only work with you but also work with your team members, your management team, right? They sit with you, they handhold you, so that you're moving from level X to level Y.
Correct.
So that's the ultimate concept, that it's not only a Gyan platform where you come and only take Gyan, but also take that Gyan, implement it in your company. Whether there is an advisory board where we help companies to come up and create it for them, and then with that Gyan, the mentors sitting with you in your boardroom, and taking your companies to the next level. So that's the ultimate community what we have been building up.
This is really awesome, and I think it would form classic case studies for management students also, to just see how is it that you are handling all of this.
Thank you.
So it's really good. Okay, I often wonder that certain directors, of course I'm not pinpointing at anyone or not looking down upon anyone, but अक्सर ये होता है कि हम एक पड़ाव पे पहुंचते हैं, and then we really stop thinking कि मैं कैसे बढ़ूं, because sometimes you're at your pinnacle, but we never think कि अब मैंने क्या सीखना चाहिए, and is there anything at all that I can learn? So when it comes to directors in this case, have you ever faced this, that how do you identify that, okay, this is the kind of training a particular company director might need? Yeah, how is it that you really convince them sometimes that that this is a need and it's good for your growth?
Yeah, in fact I'll tell you, this is probably the one of the biggest challenge when we really see, because governance is invisible, right? You really can't measure how you are going to benefit with this these best practices unless you actually do it, and that shows you the result, right? So when we speak to promoters, we speak to founders, the most important thing is or if you say, how do we evaluate or identify people? So people who have growth mindset, or even independent directors, women directors, so if they are really looking at something different in their careers, then only they will understand, right, that what boardrooms mean. Now I categorize broadly, or we categorize broadly 5 types of target audiences for us. That's like promoters, founders who are running their own businesses, right? Then there are women directors, independent directors who are already on boards. And then there are aspiring directors, right, who still aspire, like professionals honge, yeah, if somebody is senior management, retired officers, right? So if they are now looking at their second career option, so they become aspiring directors. And also today a lot of startups are coming up, right? So a lot of governance challenges do come up in the startups. I mean, we've seen recent so many case studies where the governance failures were the major reason for the entire tumbling down, where in just 3 days the entire 1,000 crore net worth is eroded, right? So the governance is something which is core, but many people really don't understand that. Now here what happens is or rather when you say how we add value, so people who really have that inclination towards growth, only those people come to us, right? If they are eyeing for IPO for their companies,
Correct.
they come, right? Because when they want to formalize their boardrooms, when they want external independent directors to come on board,
Right.
that's where they come, and we are able to help them because we have a trained resource of directors who are already understanding what boardroom means.
Correct.
The dummy directors are not coming to your boardroom and just sitting there.
Correct.
Right? So that's the value addition what we do.
Correct.
And again, how do we reach out is something, when we speak, the awareness is again still at a very nascent stage in India. How do we build up more awareness is something, we do it through Women Directors Conclave, Independent Directors Summit. So round tables, lot of round tables we do. So that's kind of awareness we spread, and then we are able to add value to them.
Right. And in terms of, if I have to say, what are your products, services, or sort of resources that you make available to the people who come to you?
So as she rightly mentioned that, people will come to us only when they know about these
Correct.
products, services through the various events or through the roundtables that we host. Now, just to give you a perspective, only in the top listed companies you will find their own LMS wherein directors at their level would want to learn and upskill themselves every time, right? In all the other companies, director would feel that मुझे सब कुछ आता है भाई, मेरी टीम को सिखा दो जो सिखाना है.
Correct. Yes.
So training programs are generally conducted only for the teams. What we are bringing to the table is the continuous learning and upskilling for the directors who are the brain of that company. So we have our own LMS that is inbuilt in the system. With regards to the products and the services, if you ask me, there are a lot of products which are governance tools, which are tech tools, which are used in the boardrooms. So those are the kind of tools. Resources, if you speak about, we also have leadership books in forms of, all the leadership books which are relevant to boardrooms are brought at one place, so that if you want to have a quick read, you can just go to it. If I have to talk about the services that a director will need, so a director might need various services to perform his role effectively and efficiently. So if you say, if he has to just, from basics, if he has to just take out maybe a digital signature of his own. So that is kind of a very basic. So right from those services to IT to, the GST services or the compliance related services, everything that a director will need to perform his role effectively and efficiently are all available as a one-stop solution on the platform.
Right.
And just to add on, when we talk of the products and services, the most important thing is the networking, the learning, the quality connection with top leaders of the industry in the form of mentors. So today we have almost 80 mentors on the platform. Collective wisdom of those people is 1200 man years or human years. Right? You are able to speak to them, otherwise you could not have got that access.
Yes.
So that's the something which becomes the core of the entire platform. Mentoring. We, for example, have something called quick mentoring, quick advice. Right? So you want to kind of get certain information, certain guidance, and you can simply go to the platform, connect with that person, and immediately there is a system which gets him connected to you within 15 minutes of time. So,
and to add to it, we also have specific programs. So for women, we have a program by the name of WOM, that is Women on Management and Boards, which is kind of a curated learning, a 3 months hand-holding journey for the women who are aspiring to get into the boardrooms and want to learn and upskill themselves. For independent directors, we have IDEAL, that is Independent Directors Education and Learning. So there are various other programs. For promoters, we have a one-day program, that is Boardroom Mastery Certification Program. So these are few of our offerings, or you can say programs, that help individuals as directors to perform their roles better.
Right.
Apart from having the corporate board trainings as a whole, so we also train the entire board in terms of what is new in the system or what is new in the industry, what are the new laws that are coming up, which needs to be known by the directors. So for example, there is a DPDP law, the data protection law, which has just come up. and directors would want to know more about it, because today data being the oil that we are all banking upon, and it is used everywhere.
Correct.
These are the kind of programs or the initiatives that the directors themselves want to upskill themselves on. So these are few of our offerings in terms of maybe products or services or training, mentorings on the platform.
Yes, because being a fresh entrepreneur myself, and the very basic advice, or the most popular advice that you get is you need to network. अभी network बोल दिया, but करे कैसे? Am I to call people? Am I to meet people? But are those people capable of being my mentors, or are they even my target audience? ये पता ही नहीं चलता, because you are new, you are exploring, and I feel a lot of time is lost. So I think anyone and everyone who is in their entrepreneurial journey or has reached a certain level in their careers can come to you, right?
Absolutely.
In fact, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
So in fact, just to mention, because you mentioned about starting an entrepreneurial journey.
Yes.
So everyone cannot aspire to get mentored from maybe Indra Nui or from maybe the top of the industry experts.
Correct.
You need someone who will understand your current situation, who is
Right.
maybe just 10 steps ahead of what you are doing, who has
Correct.
actually gone through that path
Correct.
and is mentoring you at that level, so that you get the right guidance at the right time.
Right.
That is also equally important, getting the right guidance at the right time, and that is where
Yes.
platforms like MentorMyBoard can help you to
Yes.
connect to those right people.
Correct. That's very good to know, and it's very helpful personally. So definitely I am going to talk to many women that I know who are stuck. We have a vision, but
True.
we don't have the roadmap.
Right.
It's like that. So whenever I observe the businesses in India, I feel that majority businesses, or let's say most of the businesses, are family owned, or you have most of the family members coming and sitting in these director positions. So how and where do you see the scope of your role helping them, or adding some value to it?
I think that's a great question. When I really look at the entire business ecosystem in India, almost 80% to 85% businesses are controlled by family businesses, right?
Yes.
Family owned, or families,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
Now, in the family, the most important part is the trust factor. Trust factor is very high, right? So therefore, a lot of times, people go with the gut feeling of one person, or gut feeling of group of people, basically. But there is a statistics which says the family businesses don't continue to be together beyond third generation, right? And that happens because the difference of opinion, so on and so forth. The disputes come up, the expectations, from each other changes over a period. So these all are the kind of decisions which are usually taken at the thought leadership level in those families. How the boardrooms, because every business, and I'm really talking here only of the businesses which are matured and which have the formal board structure, right? I'm not really talking of the proprietors or the smaller businesses, because India is yet to see huge corporatization in India. I mean, India is going to see that in years ahead. And as we move towards corporatization, the more and more the need of corporate structures will be required, where governance, boardrooms will play a very, very important role.
Correct.
So whenever there is and I'll give you this with example. Suppose there is 1,000 crore business, 3 generations sitting in the boardroom. The topmost generation says we have done a lot, 1,000 crore कर लिया, बस हो गया, कितना करेंगे? And the third generation says, and we want to grow and expand. So how do you really kind of make sure that these thought processes align? So that's where the role of mentors, that's where the role of external perspectives coming in.
Right.
And also that's where the role of boardrooms come into picture. That both the decisions, whether to stop the growth or whether to expand, has to come to a common table, and the decisions have to be taken jointly and mutually. Right? Not going by one person's gut feeling that no growth, or not going by gut feeling of a person that we are going ahead whether you like it or not like
Correct.
it. So I think that's the role of a board, which the businesses kind of see and that get value. And today you'll see all the businesses which have grown, they have these basic principles in their structures. But again,
Right.
as I mentioned, the corporatization, the overall growth, and with the growth, the challenges, the disputes coming in, the need of formal board structures, better governance practices, having external perspectives in the form of independent directors, women directors,
Correct.
coming on, is growing. So I think when the demand grows, we will also, have lots to contribute there.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
And just to add to what she mentioned, what happens is in a family setup, generally it is observed that, if professionals come in and speak the same thing, or, they advise on something, it is more heard from both the sides of the table.
You have a consensus.
So you have a
because-
consensus basically,
Yes.
and that is the role that we play as a professional and help those, both the generations come together on one platform and then agree to the growth phase that they are looking forward for.
Correct.
So that is where we come into picture.
Right. It's not that we are not progressive now as a nation in our, outlook towards everything.
True.
So be it gender equality, or be it, whatever, infrastructure and things like that, traditions, religion, whatever you want to say. So often I think, women get asked a question, maybe not directly, but सबके मन में तो आता है कि मैं इसको डायरेक्टर क्यों बनाऊं? What are you going to get to the table? Because I don't blame anyone, or I'm not gender biased at all, but ये हकीकत है. This is a fact. So, where can we or you come into the picture? The reason I ask you this question is because early on you mentioned about the womb, initiative that
Right.
you have taken. So, can you just, explain that how is this going to sort of come together and work in the betterment of women?
Sure. So this womb program was launched by our Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji in the Women Directors Conclave that we did in September 22.
Okay.
While she was addressing a gathering of 600 women in the BSc hall, she was so happy, and the first line that she mentioned was, "I'm happy to be part of this huge women network or women crowd, because it is hardly that I find so many women coming together." And if she is mentioning it, there is definitely something that we need to think upon as well.
Yeah.
So inherently women have we ourselves have those hesitations in
Right.
speaking up about we need it, or we creating a mark in the boardroom and saying that this is what I want to put forth from my side, or adding value. We would have those hesitations. अरे मैं बोलूँगी तो बाकी के लोग क्या सोचेंगे, मुझे बोलना है या नहीं बोलना है. So these kind of questions are generally faced by women more than the male counterpart. That is where this womb program comes into picture. This is kind of a 3 months curated learning that we have put together, wherein different facets of learning are involved. So it is not kind of only e-courses देख लिए and समझ लिया and हो गया, certification मिल गया. So it involves e-courses, it involves peer learning sessions. So you interact with your peers and you understand the same e-course that you have viewed from the perspective of different industries.
Correct.
Because your peers are from different industries, different geographical backgrounds and experiences. You then have a Q&A session. So you develop that habit of asking the right questions, which is very important and crucial inside the boardroom. So the way you mentioned, why should I offer a table? I mean, why should I offer a seat on the table to a woman?
Yeah.
Because when you add value, when you
Correct.
ask the right kind of questions to the board, or they have that understanding that okay, she knows the business,
Yes.
she can contribute well, she has that kind of network that she brings together with her.
Yes.
Only when they see value in whatever you provide at that seat is when they respect and they honor you.
Right.
There is a study of Harvard which mentions that women have those inherent hesitations due to which they are not offered those positions in leadership roles or maybe the board roles.
Right.
And that is where these kind of programs which come into picture, and women need to absorb or need to think beyond baki ke log kya sochenge.
Correct.
It is what I want to put forth my point, and you have to be firm enough to do it in a particular way.
Yes.
Of course. So these soft skills and the technical skills are both taught in this WOOM program. There is also facet of group learning and one-on-one mentoring. So this one-on-one mentoring, when you sit across a table with a mentor, maybe in a Zoom room, but you understand the nuances or maybe nitty-gritties about those particular governance aspects which you need to keep in mind. So these kind of things act as a refresher time and again for you to learn and unlearn for yourself.
Right.
Then there is a dissertation that you need to work upon in the program. So it is not kind of only learning, but also putting your mind to the dissertation topic and submitting something which is reviewed, and then finally in the convocation we actually felicitate the best dissertation that has been submitted in the group.
Right.
So this is the kind of entire package of learning, I can say, which is offered in this program, which is a 3 months journey. And around 13 to 14 mentors, different expertise, who have different expertise, work together to nurture one woman director to take her from that role to the boardroom seat, where she can create or make that difference.
Correct. So I feel, nurturing, like you said, plays a very important role. That's a very good word, because it's sort of targeting, the women holistically. सारे ही एंगल से हम देख रहे हैं, betterment कर रहे हैं. So it's really something that everyone should think about, and experiential learning, which is I think lacking in most sectors that we see. कि hands-on learning नहीं है. Things are very informative. In a way. So this is a very good.
In fact, I'll tell you, there is one thing. I was talking to a government officer, and she is from Serious Fraud Investigation Office of Government Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and she mentioned that a lot of times, when they interrogate, the fraud cases or something like that, and when they interrogate women. Right, they're absolutely clueless what papers they're signing, because they are there but they are not there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Lot of times the directors who are men, they come and say don't call women directors here, because they're not aware, and you ask whatever questions you want to ask us. But when you are there, I mean, my perspective is that when you enter the boardroom, you're not a male or a female, you are a director.
You're a director.
So
Yes.
the ownership and accountability of that position and the role has to be understood even by women in family business
Right.
when they're signing documents.
Right.
So that is something, awareness through, these kind of initiatives we have been working on.
Yes. So I think, to all the women directors जो बने हैं, क्योंकि बेटे ने बोला है, पति ने बोला है, ठीक है, it's very good, but I think you need to go one step ahead and come meet Neha and Divya and just take a leap of faith in your journey that you've already started. All right. We are a progressing nation, and we are having support from everyone, and that inspires many startups. And yours too is a startup.
Right.
So I would really like you to tell us a little bit about that journey. कहाँ रात को नींद नहीं आई, कहाँ आई, कहाँ बहुत celebration हुआ, and you felt top of the world, and you felt that yes, this decision was bang on.
Wow.
Neha can speak on it.
This is kind of a question which I would love to answer.
Yeah.
So initially we had started with small training programs for men, women both, just to understand the need in the market. So there used to be a room of maybe 10 people, out of which maybe 4 or 5 were our own members, and 4 or 5 were outsiders whom we
Employees.
used to train.
Employees.
Yes, the employees would form the half of the room.
So that's how we started our
So
journey.
that was the start point of the journey. From there, many sleepless nights, many happy nights, and it's kind of a roller coaster journey for each startup, and I can bet on it.
Yes.
I mean, no startup would say that, मेरी journey तो बहुत superb आसान रही and मैं तो एकदम top notch पे हूँ. So kind of maybe if in case there are some, वो फिर fall भी उतना dip भी उतना जल्दी आ सकता है. So for us it was kind of a roller coaster ride. वहाँ से लेके जब तक वो वुमेन डायरेक्टर्स कॉन्क्लेव में 600 women in the room and maybe 600 watching online in the hybrid mode. So kind of a 1200 people का event host करना was a journey which gave us all the butterflies in the stomach.
Yes.
From there, the next Women Directors Conclave, where Smriti Irani was a part of that. Also, Independent Directors Summit, which we used to do, partnering with BSc and NSC, because they are the frontiers of governance in the corporates today. Partnering with them, jointly hosting events with them. Dr. Kiran Bedi addressing the conclave while she mentioned that, if you go and get listed on the stock exchange, I will be the first person to buy the shares.
I'll be the second.
We've got a second investor.
Yes. So kind of having those testaments from people who say that there is a need of these kind of initiatives to be done. From there to just recently we got an award from Ficky Flow at the national level where 1400 startups had participated, and they had a program with us in association with She Rises.
Okay.
So the startups were evaluated, then they kind of brought it down the funnel to 600 startups. And then after further assessment in Mumbai zone, there were only 6 startups which were, presenting or actually pitching in front of investors, where MentorMyBoard won the first position.
How lovely.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And then at the national level, they chose only 3 startups out of the 1400 that they had received, who were making a mark and creating an impact. And ours was a governance tech platform, which was creating an impact in the governance ecosystem. Because we are talking about ESG today. Everyone is speaking about ESG today. There are norms, there are many programs awareness about ESG in space. So we deal with the governance aspect of ESG. And that is where this platform has been creating that impact since past 6 years. So in those top 3 startups, again we stood first at the national Wiki Flow as well. That kind of gave a testament to us that this journey is worthwhile, and we are happy to continue it in future as well.
I can relate to that. Yes, it would have felt wonderful.
Yes, of course.
To wrap the interview, it's one of my favorite questions, because I feel like how we are sitting together, and I'm sure after our interview there are going to be very interesting overlaps that we find in each other's strengths, and let's move ahead and make use of our strengths, right? But do you feel women think like that about women, or you have another perspective and you want to challenge that perspective, that hey, no, this need not be the case?
Okay. In fact, I'll take 2 case studies here, and we'll speak about the stereotypes and how we are breaking it.
Yes.
So the first is a relationship between a daughter-in-law and a mother-in-law.
Correct.
Right. So that's usually the most
controversial
relationship. Now, if I talk about my journey, or even her journey is very similar. I have been blessed with a wonderful mother-in-law, and I've written a book on journey of my mother-in-law's contribution to my growth.
Wow.
Right? So she is a person who is warrior at home, so that we are going out and doing things, in the corporate world. Similar is her journey, because her mother-in-law is my mom.
Oh.
So she is my co-sister. And that's the second stereotype what we are breaking is where nanan bhabhi ka jo rishta hota hai, usually because I am her bhabhi and she is my bhabhi, so it's a double relationship, not getting into the complexity of it. But usually, what I've seen is, वो एक relationship has gone, too much of controversial, or a lot of times, it's created the hype with the television and so on and so forth, but a lot of times ऐसा होता नहीं है really. So we have, been directors or co-founders for last 6 years, working together for 12 years now, and yeah, the journey is going on beautifully. So she is, I still remember the day when, I told her that why not you join, because I had a lot of work, and I said, if you're, at home, why not to, utilize that time. So that was her initial journey to today. I see her completely transformed, and now she, kind of takes so many lead positions where I am not able to take. So I can see the transformation, and the journey grows together, right? We all grow, and when I'm not able to do something, she's able to take it over, and when she's not able to do it, I'm able to do it. So I think that compatibility, and also having the different competencies of the promoters and founders, can be a good strength. Like जो बोलते हैं ना, ननंद अलग होती है, भाभी अलग होती है, सबकी strength अलग होती है, जैसे आपने भी बोला. So how do we combine those strengths and grow together is something, which I really feel everyone should think of.
Thank you so much.
So Saili, we were really happy to converse with you, but we would also love to know about your journey. What is it that propelled in your thoughts to start tribus and take it to this level where you're interviewing people? So what is the thought behind it? What is the concept behind it?
So I have been an educator, born an educator, maybe something कि ये तो strict है, ये तो teacher होगी type of a thing. And honestly, I have enjoyed my journey. I think it has given me, so much in life, an identity, given me that strength from within. And when you shape lives, it's a different thing. But life is never certain. So I had a setback wherein I had to leave, my job, and I had to come back home for the family. And I was thinking, what do I do with this kind of time? Because mid-year, especially in education sector, if you leave, you need to wait till the next academic year comes up. Not often opportunities are available. And I was in talks with my sister. That's how, initially we started working together. But my vision was different. So we very amicably, we parted. And yeah, I went on in my journey. So I thought of digital and social media marketing, and it appealed to me. I feel that, reaching people, communicating with them, that whole dynamics, it intrigues me. So I said, why not? And whilst deciding the name for my venture, because I believe in, shared humanity. I think we are all one. We evolve together. We are also going to, disappear together if God forbid that ever happens. So that's why Uno Tribus is one tribe. It denotes the concept of one tribe.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And my YouTube interviews are, just the way of talking to people. People get a platform. Not that it's something really great or big, but why not? Even if I can reach the hearts of few people, I think, it's a job well done. And somewhere, you need to give it back to the society. The society has given me so much, right? A recognition, a good family, some appreciation. People are going to view our videos. I am not a numbers person that how many did view it. But if, it made a difference to even one person today, even if one woman walks in telling you that, I watched your interview and I want to, train myself, groom myself, it's a win-win situation.
For sure.
So that's how the entire, thought process was.
That was so wonderful. In fact, anything which you start with a very wise vision will always go beyond limits, and I'm sure not one, you will touch millions of hearts. I'm sure you're not, you're not behind the numbers, but that is, what I see for you, that that will create an impact.
Thank you so much.
All the best to your journey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I already feel, so empowered, inspired. I feel like the next thing that I need to do on my trip back is envision myself in the, boardroom, and how am I going to get there. And I'm sure that most of our audiences, who are in the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey probably, and those ladies who are looking at this and feeling that मैं नाम की director ही नहीं काम की भी बन के दिखाऊंगी, you have to get in touch with Neha and Divya. No second thoughts. To ease that, I'm going to leave their website and their phone number in the captions. Please feel free to contact them. Thank you so much. Thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you, and I think if the journey is reciprocal, you also inspire us.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for this opportunity.
And it was wonderful speaking to you and discussing about our journey. It was true pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.